All right. So,
Yo.
the first question is very simple.
Yeah.
Could you tell us who you are and a little bit about yourself?
My name is Eric Boyce. I'm from Queens, New York. I grew up in Flushing. Been in the entertainment industry since I was a young kid. You know, aspiring actor, singer, all of those things. And then after that, I kind of like navigated into the corporate world because I found it interesting that, you know, most people get taken advantage of when they're younger, and I wanted to do something about that. So I eventually got into the digital advertisement space and the social media space, and I started a management company to represent content creators to protect them. So here I am now in Los Angeles.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What are some I know you mentioned a few of your passions and interests, but what are like some of your, and it can be the same, passions and interests that bring you like joy and fulfillment?
Creativity, food, travel. I love music. I like impact, so that brings me joy. I love the arts, so anything artsy I'm a fan of. I like motorcycles, cars, cigars, whiskey, bourbon, anything of the spirits. I enjoy a lot of things. I would say I'm a connoisseur of just lifestyle in general, you know, like to be involved in anything that is, I would say, creative. There's like a fly, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in your chosen career path, you definitely have to, you know, being a manager, owning a management company, you have to have confidence and everything. And so for you in those moments, maybe, and it's probably something you may not struggle with now, or it may, but how do you, or how have you handled self-doubt, and like what strategies did you use to like overcome it?
So I used to always think I was an extrovert, like growing up. I always thought I was an extrovert, but I'm actually introvert, extrovert. I'm very extroverted with people that I know, and I'm very introverted with people I don't know. But what pushed me to gain the confidence to do this, I think, was just me always knowing that the biggest blessings for me always came when I was in my most uncomfortable state. So I kind of forced myself to do this, which put me into a position where I could do anything in my mindset. Of course, there's going to be time periods where I'm doubtful. But what I like to remind myself is that all my hard challenges previously before are now things that I could look back and say I overcame them because I once dreamed about getting to where I'm at now. So every time that I think about, you know, being discouraged or like, you know, I receive a lack of motivation in something, I think about the fact that I'm where I actually prayed to be at. So everything that I'm praying to go, I shouldn't worry about it because, you know, just keep swimming until you reach your blessings. You know, that's how I operate. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And speaking of beliefs, when have you experienced a profound shift in your perspective or beliefs, and how did it shape your personal growth?
In terms of faith, in terms of like, I mean, if we talk about faith, I grew up as a Christian, and you know, growing up in the church, I feel like we actually we take God for granted, and it took me going away from the church for my faith to actually get stronger, because when I seen people who never knew Christ, never knew Christianity, worship God, I felt like they had so much passion that I never seen myself have. And I had to ask myself, why do I not have that passion? And God spoke to me and said, because you never realized how good you had it compared to others. So I feel like a shift in my faith was when I turned 21, when I really like started focusing on God heavily, and made it a mission to make sure that anything that I ever did career-wise, with people or any ideas that I ever had, I always wanted to have an impact. So it made my faith a lot stronger. And now I can say, there's nothing that can shift my path right now. I'm pretty solid and focused on what I believe in.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it seems like when you have such a strong like purpose in your life, is like it helps build the foundation of who you are and keeps you grounded for sure and stuff. And
it definitely also makes you, like, for example, when you have the experience of going through multiple things, it gives you a testimony. I feel like when I was younger, I didn't really have many testimonies. But then, by me going away from God for a little bit, I was able to see what it was like not having him right there. Even though he was there, I just didn't necessarily call on him all the time. By having that right there and going through that, it taught me, how to always have the faith. It told me that pretty much anything you put your mind to, as long as you put in the work ethic, you can do it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
My next question is, when do you feel the most connected to your purpose?
Actually, to be honest, I feel the most connected to my purpose when I'm joyriding, either on a motorcycle or in the car. And the reason being is because when you drive, you have to focus. And sometimes I focus so much in that, I feel like that's when all my creative ideas come. Because I'm so focused on the road, I'm so focused on, pedestrians and making sure I do everything the right way. It allows me to get caught up in the music that I'm listening to and think about all the dreams and the things that I want to accomplish. So I feel like driving in like cars and going on joyrides and motorcycles, I feel like it's a meditation for me. And that's when I really feel like I'm truly in my purpose. And then after that, I have to execute it. And so I feel like I'm the most creative in a car or on a motorcycle. Yeah.
That's awesome. And speaking of like, executing and stuff, and that ties into you and your career path and everything.
Yeah.
How do you maintain a sense of balance and well-being amidst the demands of your everyday life?
This is something that I still struggle with because I work from home. My company now is fully digital. So one of the things that, I noticed over the past couple of years is that more things are accessible to us. And because of that, we run into a situation where, because we have more access, sometimes we don't know when to turn off the access. And that prevents us from actually living. And I've been trying for the past 2 years doing more living than just allow myself to be accessible to everyone. That goes to family, friends, work, distractions. I think we never really pay attention to our own mental health, our own internal needs, because we're always so easily reachable. So I'm doing certain things, even tactics that I learned from other people, which is after a certain period of time, I'm not responding to certain texts. If it's work related, I'm learning how the power of no, when different opportunities come my way, knowing how to take advantage of the power of no. Not saying yes to everything. I'm a big like people pleaser, so a lot of times I would go into situations where I just want to please people, and I feel like I'm in a position now where I'm doing more self-growth, and I'm actually going for walks. I'm going to the gym. I'm taking time out for myself to sit down and just relax and have a moment of peace. Things are so crazy outside of these walls in terms of life, right? and everything is happening a million miles a minute, different things like that. And sometimes we just need to settle down, because I do feel like we're living in a generation where when there's so much going on, sometimes our attention span is just decreasing. And in order to protect that, I feel like we need to be accountable with our self-time, that we spend with each other, and look in the mirror and take a break, Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I guess the next thing I would ask everyone, we always are growing, like personally, like all the time and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you feel that it's kind of a double question, and I guess you can answer depending on what your first answer is. It's like that person you aspire to be, like, have you become that person, or are you still striving for that person? And if you're not that person yet, how do you handle the gap between who you are now and who you are trying to be?
I think I spoke about this a little earlier, but like one of the things that I realized is the person that I wanted to be, or the person that you're always trying to be, you realize once you become that person, you're trying to be something else. So you're constantly on this train of, evolving. I used to think that you'll set your goal and where your threshold is, and you'll reach it and that's it. But then you'll realize when you set your threshold, because you managed to get there and I guess elevate, I wouldn't say quickly, but more so like just without realizing how fast you have maneuvered through things without realizing it, you'll get to that certain point and you realize, wow, I have changed so much from that process, and now I'm trying to go to another step in my life. So I feel like we're always evolving, like every day. That's why even in relationships, it's always important to keep common goals discussed, even in a relationship, because every day we're changing. When I was younger, I wanted to be on TV, and I wanted to do all of these different things in entertainment in the forefront. Now that I kind of like experienced that when I was younger, then it shifted and I wanted to do things more behind the scenes. And now, being where I'm at and I have been more behind the scenes, I'm kind of like moving towards a path where now I kind of want to be a speaker and kind of like speak to people and maybe even start a podcast. But I feel like things are always shifting, and in between, when you're thinking about that person you want to be tomorrow, I think it's always important to just stay motivated. Always stay active in your creativity and never lose sight on what you want. And if you get discouraged, always remember where you came from. I always feel like if you have a second breath to take, just know that there's another day tomorrow that you can go after. So that's how I live my life, and I continue to chase the person that I will be tomorrow, like just over and over again.
Oh, that's awesome. And it's, let's see how I'm getting to it is like one thing about you, from what I've gathered from, and I'm not even talking from a personal level of knowing you, but also just the conversation and everything you shared, it's just like you seem to be very consistent in like how you do things, finding your purpose and everything. And I think that's one of the things in this new generation or world that we're in, where it's like everything is so quick and instant. People don't understand the level of work and consistency and how long things usually take to become successful. I guess what advice or tips you would share about like not being so caught up in what the world is telling you, like, oh, being viral is the way to be successful and stuff. And
everyone has a different path, a different time stamp on how they will reach things. I would also say everyone has their time where they'll make it as long as there's consistency behind their work ethic.
Yeah.
One of the things that I like to share with people is that you have the ability to do anything you want in life, but it comes with hard work. And throughout the process of that, you have to make sure to always put in the effort and the dedication, and don't pay attention to the noise around you, because you are going to see one of your friends or someone you know who's going to go viral in something overnight. Never discredit the job that you think is not for you, that is actually given to you to get you where you're going. Like, I remember when I used to work in a deli when I was younger, and I was sweeping the floor and I was making egg sandwiches. I was like, what is this going to do for me? I'm never going to want to, do this for a living. But that job actually taught me about inventory. It taught me how to cook at home. It gave me the ability to learn how to deal with customers and have customer service. So sometimes the jobs that we have is going to help finance the dream that we desire. And we just got to make sure that we reinvest back into ourselves. So if I can speak to people out there who are thinking about giving up on that 9-to-5 that they have, or maybe they don't have a 9-to-5, but they're working the graveyard shift and times is rough. Take one step at a time and always remember why you took that interview. Sometimes we get so caught up in our emotions because we open up the phone and we see a bad fabrication of what real life is like. It's not real on social media. People are only showing you the good parts. They're not showing you what got them to that, dream vacation. They're not showing you what got them that dream home. They're just showing you the end result. And a lot of times people need to understand that if you focus just on the grind and the hustle, eventually you will be able to get to that end result and understand the sacrifices that people went through to get there. So definitely appreciate where you are right now, and always remember that job interview, that job that you hated, or the job that you hate right now that you are struggling with, at some point you were excited to interview with them because you needed them to get to a next step of your life. That's what I usually try to tell myself. I know everything is a process and a season, and those things are really important for growth. Yeah.
Oh. Awesome. As we're winding down with questions, I guess going to the area of self-care and replenishing yourself, what are certain practices or things you do to replenish your well-being and who you are after working all the time, or even if you go through a situation that is less than ideal for you, kind of thing?
Don't be afraid to have someone that you could let things out. For me, it's my mom. She's someone that I could, go speak to and talk about personal things. I trust her and I go to her. I feel like everyone needs someone like that in their life, a person that they can vent to with zero judgment and be able to just express how they feel without, sometimes you need to vent without opinion. Sometimes you need someone who could just listen to you. And then it's important to also have a good support system around you. People that are going to be there for you when you're up, and people who's going to be there for you when you're down. Another thing I would say is hobbies. As you like to salsa, you like to create great content. For me I like going to cigar lounges. Sometimes I like just kicking back at home and just listening to music and throwing the record player. I like to work out. I like to run. Make sure you have these soft escapes that you could use in your life to help you stay focused. Because when you turn off work, right, you need to make sure that there's something left for yourself. And I think by having these kind of passion for yourself, it really helps you get through life when things are not good. Because to be honest, things are not always going to be good. There are going to be time periods when you go through things and it's going to feel like it's the end of the world. I've been there many times in my life. I'm sure you have. But you need to have these different hobbies that allow you to, and support systems that allow you to have something to lean on. Because, you know, for myself, I feel like I'm Superman and I could do everything, but we're not, you know, we're only human, and sometimes we need support. And going back to, you know, the number one thing for me is my faith. You know, having faith and prayer really helps me a lot when, you know, I'm dealing with certain things. And I feel like if people, you know, focus on family, focus on inner self-growth and faith, and just being a good person, I feel like it will really help them through bad times.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
My final question that I always ask everyone is, because it's like, you know, people usually say, oh, like, what would you tell your younger self? What do you want to tell your future self?
Oh, okay. You flipped the switch on me. Okay. I was ready for that one. Okay. What I would tell my future self is, wow, I can't believe I did it. Wow, I can't believe I did it. You made it. You did it. Look at it. No, that's what I tell my future. I actually do the Tootsie Roll. Be like, you did it, bro. No, but truthfully, it's crazy because I actually filmed a video with my daughter that I'm going to save, and I told her to talk to her future self. So it's funny you asked me that. But I always wish that I had some type of like film of me back then, like talking to myself saying, hey, did we do it? Did we get there? Did we do all the things that we said we were going to do? I think that's a dope concept. I really like that. But yeah, I would tell my future self, like, man, I'm so proud of you. Like, you know, I'm so happy that you stuck it through and you kept going when no one believed in you, and you kept your faith high and you just kept hitting the pavement, and I'm super proud of you, and I can't wait to see you, you know?
Like that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
And how I end every interview, I end it with a high five.
Oh, all right.
Bringing
That's cool, man. That was cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. He's like, oh, we got the mic check, 1, 2. That was fun.